Hey there, Breakfast Clubbers! Welcome to another week's episode of Back Issue Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Callie Guentner of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. This week, I'm cheating a little bit just because I don't have the full extended edition, and I'm doing two because these two stories make up Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And for anyone who's only seen the movie, always the book has a little bit more nuance and richer story, though I will say that that movie really captured the heart of the emotions of the story. And that movie did a good job of adapting the story to the MCU, though they are different stories. So even if you've only seen the movie, there's something to enjoy here. This story is just an iconic Captain America story. There's a reason that this put Ed Brubaker's Captain America on the map. At this point, when Ed Brubaker came onto Captain America, as far as I know, interest in Captain America was waning, and this really renewed interest. Also, at this point, Bucky had been dead for decades. He had been Captain America's teen sidekick, which was a little bit hokey back then. It was, original Batman and Robin, every hero had a teen sidekick, and it was done in a very kid-friendly manner. And so for Bucky to be brought back in this way was pretty interesting. And to me, it's still one of the more interesting comic hero backstories. And I personally think Winter Soldier is a hero. So again, it's written by Ed Brubaker. The main art is by Steve Epting. I have to double check. Michael Lark does the flashback art. So if you saw my episode last week, it's similar to Hawkeye in that it jumps between the present and the past, and the art is very different, which I really do love that. Here's a little bit of the flashback art from Volume 1, and we've got just this gorgeous snowy scene. I absolutely love the color palette on that. The harsher colors of the present, it just really tells the story of what each era feels like. And so to give a little recap of the story, Captain America at the start of the story is really feeling a little bit adrift. Hawkeye, so his longtime teammate, has just died. He's feeling guilty about that. He's broken up with his longtime girlfriend, Sharon Carter. And he's just feeling a little bit of loss of faith in some of the institutions he had faith in. And he's just feeling very isolated, getting a little more violent in his methods. And then Red Skull, who has been his longtime villain, shows up to cause trouble and gets murdered right outside his apartment. And S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up and is like, and at first kind of suspects him, which for me, I'm thinking, did Nazi. Are we really going to cry over this? People, this is why no one's lining up to give me super soldier serum. As Steve and S.H.I.E.L.D. are looking into this mystery, they start to discover that the murderer of Red Skull is possibly this shadowy Winter Soldier assassin. And Steve gets a glimpse of him, and we get that absolutely emotional, who the hell is Bucky? Moment, which is just as poignant in the comics as you can imagine. And Steve is also starting to remember things from his past that his memories are really fuzzy, and he's not quite sure how much of his past happened. Volume 1 also delves into a side character, Jack Monroe, kind of played a Next Generation's Bucky to a Next Generation's Captain America, who ended up being a little bit more of a shady character. And then Steve took Jack, who had mostly good intentions, under his wing and kind of helped Jack get on the right path. And so it goes through a little bit of a side story with Jack that ends up tying into the main story. Has a really interesting twist that I'm not going to spoil. And it's also really heartbreaking. Also, I didn't mention it, but this comic is not for children. Absolutely not for children. Especially as we get into volume 2, there is some body horror when it starts showing a little bit of what happened to Bucky after he was presumed dead and how he was transformed into the Winter Soldier. And it's graphic. Here's a little more of the present day art, though. We've got just these dynamic action pieces. A lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. in action, a lot of Cap in action, of course. We have a little more of the past where we get to see the moment where Steve and Bucky really meet and decide to, or, you know, start working together. And that really underscores how heartbreaking it is when Steve realizes Bucky didn't die. He was turned into this Winter Soldier character. And the whole story, it will rip your heart out. If you know that, maybe not a happy ending, but there's hope for Bucky and the Winter Soldier for more of a redemption arc, it softens the blow a little bit. It is a beautifully done story. The writing's amazing. The art's amazing. This is definitely one of those top, it has to be one of the top 5 Captain America stories overall. One of the top comic book stories, I would say. Very, very hard-hitting emotional-wise. The art underscores the story so beautifully. So if you have not read this, what are you waiting for? Pick it up. Absolutely pick it up if you are a Captain America fan. If you like a little bit of horror, it has that little horror touch. If you like military intrigue, if you like, you know, if you like Nazi bad guys. I mean, it's Captain America. You know what you're getting into. So I definitely recommend it. And I want to hear what's your favorite Captain America story, or if you're not a Captain America fan, what's your favorite Avenger and what's your favorite story for them? What are you reading this week? If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We would love it if you would do the Buy Me a Coffee. Hopefully Johnny will oblige and put the link in. And thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a super week.